timepieces. And to demonstrate, Mark Chislak has been up the poshest timepiece of them all.
Perhaps the most famous clock in the world resides in London's Elizabeth Tower. Here, inside the Elizabeth Tower in Westminster, all year round, 3 clock mechanics tend and care for this giant 154-year-old example of mechanical timekeeping. It's almost a living mechanism. The clock mechanics here feed it by winding it 3 times a week. They regulate it to ensure it keeps good time. In fact, this venerable old timekeeper is accurate to within 1 second a day. This is timekeeping delivered on a grand scale. However, on a more personal, wearable level, time and technology march ever on. Lots of us may have ditched wristwatches in favour of a mobile phone's clock, but the watch itself is now capable of more than just telling the time. This is the annual Basel World Watch and Jewellery Fair in Switzerland, the premier event for all things horological. That's the art and science of timekeeping, to you and me. Here, all faces of the clock are covered, for the largest luxury brands promoting their latest marvels of micro-mechanical engineering, to watches crafted in exotic ceramic materials, often carrying price tags similar to a family car's. How smart can a watch actually be? Well, that particular timepiece over there is fitted with a personal locator beacon, which seems pretty clever to me. Crafted in lightweight titanium and measuring a whopping 51mm across, the Emergency 2 contains an emergency transmitter that will notify search and rescue services of its owner's location once activated. The watch itself transmits 2 signals on emergency frequencies. One is earthbound, the other can be detected by satellites in space, regardless of its wearer's location. The personal locator beacon has its own battery, which must be charged up on this charging station every 2 months. The price for this level of safety? $15,000. And if its owner accidentally sets off the beacon, showing off down the path, they'll be charged a considerable amount of cash to cover the cost of any scrambled search and rescue teams. The Berg watch isn't a watch at all, it's a wrist-mounted mobile phone. Inside looks a SIM card, and the watch face sports a colour touchscreen, but it's certainly not a smartphone. It allows its user to make and receive calls, send and receive text messages, even watch and listen to multimedia content. Its screen is very small though. Texting or using its calculator can become an exercise in patience and steady-handed skill. But if you want to use a really smart watch, then you'd better own a smartphone. Most of these devices connect via Bluetooth in order to present their wearer with information from their phone, such as text and email message alerts, or acting as a remote control for a phone's music player. The iWatch is a fairly chunky slab of wristwear, but its aluminium shell keeps its weight down. It has a colour touchscreen, speakers and a microphone, and makes use of the Android operating system. It can make and receive calls when used in conjunction with the phone. However, that screen and Bluetooth make this a power-thirsty beast, requiring daily charging. Because the iWatch connects to a phone via Bluetooth tethering, it shares your phone's internet connection and is more battery-intensive than standard Bluetooth. Once you're online, the next step is to set up each app via the iCloud before anything on the watch will work. Even then, you might not get quite what you expected. Most of the apps worked to some level, but on the whole, the experience was a bit slow and clunky. And to cap it all off, the watch isn't even water resistant. Next, Pebble has had a lot to live up to, raking in a barnstorming $10 million on crowdfunding website Kickstarter, making it the most heavily funded project in the history of the site. That popularity came at a price though. With huge demand came huge delays. It's finally with us now, and those delays have paid off, sort of. The Pebble's basically a second screen for your phone, so if it's disconnected, it's not very useful. Connecting over always-on Bluetooth, the Pebble is hooked up to an app on your iPhone or Android handset. Emails, calls and text notifications from a phone appear on its screen, but because of its limited screen real estate, these are only really good as an overview. Style-wise, its plastic feel might not be for everyone, but it is waterproof to 50 metres and sports a low-power LCD e-paper display, eking out about a week of juice from the battery. But it's apps where the Pebble really starts to get interesting. The development kit has been out since April and has already garnered decent support from devs. Those apps include a host of new watch faces like these and a couple of dedicated applications like this fitness app. There are, of course, more apps still in development. The quality of these applications could well make or break the Pebble. At the moment, the watch doesn't do an awful lot, but what it does do, it manages fairly well. Rumours are rife surrounding Samsung and Apple's interest in producing a smartwatch. On this evidence, wearable technology certainly has potential in the not-too-distant future, even if it's not quite being realised in the present.
Mark Chislak with the latest batch of smartwatches. Now, I don't know about you, but back in the 80s, I had a calculator watch. Do you remember those? They'd have tiny buttons that were so fiddly to use that if you actually wanted to do a calculation, you had to take them off your wrist. At which point, all you had was a tiny calculator. Take my point? Anyway, next up it's Webscape, and Kate Russell starts this week with a fantastic suite of tools to make your YouTube videos look just that bit better.
It's fun to dabble with video editing, but if you want to get a bit more serious, check out Lightworks, a comprehensive editing suite that is powerful enough to have been used to help produce top Hollywood movies like Mission Impossible and Batman. The free version is packed with features and effects, with an upgrade to Pro if you want more professional input and output methods. If it's your first time using software like this, it might look a bit scary, but you'll pick it up in no time once you get to grips with some of the guides and tutorials. For those with a bit more experience, it'll come very quickly indeed, because the interface was pretty intuitive. There will be a steep learning curve though, so be prepared to lock yourself away in a quiet room for a few hours and read all of the PDF manuals. It's only available for Windows right now, but the Linux beta has just been opened to the public, and they plan to start alpha testing for the Mac version soon too, so bookmark the site for more news.
Like the wallpaper sticks to
Ever get the feeling you're being followed? That's kind of the whole point with Twitter, but 10 apps have taken the concept to the edge of creepiness with their free iPhone app, Shadow Me. Going beyond a simple follow, this app lets you easily shadow a particular account, seeing everything that's public that they see.
We're closer than pages that stick in a book. We're closer than ripples that play in a brook.
Of course, privacy campaigners will probably have a good old chew on this one because it makes cyberstalking as easy as it's ever been. That said, the information it's serving up is nothing that isn't publicly available, so if you are worried about what it's delivering, then perhaps you should revisit your Twitter security settings.
Well, I pulled out a Pittsburgher.
For a less creepy thing to do with your iPhone, check out the Eddie Stobart app. It's not free, but that won't matter a jot to all you trucking fans, as it's beautifully made, and you can keep an eye out for all those famous distribution lorries as you drive about.
6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight.
The World Billiards Championship is one of the oldest sporting world championships in history, dating back to the mid-19th century. Agent 008 Ball has given this particularly sedate game a 21st century twist, recreated in glorious HTML5 to be played on the latest internet browsers. In this version of the game, a billiards tournament has been infiltrated by a terrorist group. Yes, really. And you are under constant pressure by the driving plinky-plonk music and exploding 8 balls to clear the table as quickly as possible. It's apparently a very accurate rendition of the physics of a real billiards table, which is probably why my inability to sink a ball in a pocket is so frustratingly realistic too. The The winners of the 17th annual Webby Awards were announced on Tuesday. Jerry Seinfeld, Kevin Spacey and Tumblr being among those invited to make a 5-word acceptance speech.
Why 5 words? It doesn't...
The winner takes it all.
Steve Wilhite, inventor of the GIF, received a Lifetime Achievement Award, and you know I pronounced that right. The website has links to all the nominees and winners to explore, and there is a YouTube channel if you want to watch clips from the night. Active Google Plus users, of which there are now apparently 190 million, will have noticed a complete overhaul of the desktop design last week. And now the makeover is going mobile. The social network announced on its blog that posts will now appear as cards in the mobile web stream, making them easier to read and interact with. As well as looking prettier, the design added 41 new features, including a multi-column layout, larger photos and automatic hashtags.
Thank you, Kate. That's Kate's Webscape, and you'll find that at our website, along with lots of other stuff from the programme and breaking tech news throughout the week too. bbc.co.uk/click is the address you need. You'll also find us on Google+, Facebook and Twitter. And if you'd like to email us, you can. click@bbc.co.uk is our address. But that's it for now, so thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.